Hey, before we get going, I want to talk about the beer sponsor of this show. You guys know that's the great tasting, less filling Miller Lite. Bears fans, obviously, we're going to be raising our glasses a week from today.
To the future.
Toast in the future. First number one overall draft pick that we're going to make since 1947. And also have the number 9 pick. This historic moment and Miller Lite is going to help us usher the celebration in a new era of Bears football in a way that matches this draft's epicness. So mark your calendars. Next Thursday, April 25th, Miller Lite is throwing the biggest toast in Chicago history at the official Miller Lite Chicago Bears headquarters bars. There will be Miller Lite draft specials, and you can get your hands on awesome Bears merch and tickets for the upcoming season. But wait, there's more. There's a chance to win a pair of season tickets if you post yourself cheersing to the number 1 pick on Instagram with the hashtag lights up for the pick. The pick. Lights up for the pick.
Like the Bears. You get it, Ed?
I got it, Dave. Thank you.
You get it?
Hashtag sweepstakes and tag Miller Lite. You like that, Cheah?
I like that. How do you spell light? L-I-T-E, like Miller Lite?
L-I-T-E.
Yeah,
you got it, Cheah. Yeah. Good job, everyone.
Lights up, baby.
Everyone's
Lights
quick
up.
Learners in this room today. So spread the word, Chicago. This is a celebration for the ages, and we want you to be a part of it. Go to the Bears website to find an HQ bar near you and come out on draft night Thursday, April 25th to be a part of history. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories and 3.2 carbs per 12 ounces. On that note, all right, bang, bang. Welcome to the mid-show. We are joined by Dana Beers on Zoom, and we are also joined by Stephen Cheah in studio because if you listen to our Tuesday episode, you could tell that the NBA knowledge on this pod for this moment is
we need help.
Yes.
Yeah, we brought in the cavalry.
Exactly. So we're going to do a little primer for dummies here. So you guys probably didn't hear it, but White Sox Dave, we went through the list. We went through all 30 teams. He could only name one player on 8 teams.
But this is off the top of my head for one. Like, if I looked at the rosters, I would know who a lot of the players are, obviously. I just follow basketball.
Get him, Cheah.
No.
Get him.
I know who the players are. Cheah. I know who the players are. I don't follow league transactions. It's a 0 at this stage of my life.
To be fair, I'm probably the same way with, like, hockey or baseball. Like, I don't know how many hockey players I could name, to be completely honest.
But if you looked at the rosters, you'd be like, oh, yeah, I know that guy, I know that guy.
I'd be like,
exactly.
oh, that guy's on the Lightning now.
Like, I didn't say this either. So I blame the White Sox for, like, just making sports detestable for me for the most part. But, like, 20 years ago, I watched 13 episodes of SportsCenter every single day because you didn't have this. Like, I'll go to Fangraphs every morning. I'll follow league-wide baseball stuff, but like basketball, I don't go out of my way to consume it anymore. When we were growing up, you were forced to consume it because you were waiting for that 30-second highlight of your team, and you had to sift through all those basketball highlights. So just by
no, it's definitely true.
Yeah.
Same way I would know NASCAR drivers.
Exactly.
Just by secondhand from SportsCenter.
Right. So that's it. I just 0 NBA. Derrick Rose, it broke my heart because I loved him that much.
You're just a broken man.
Yeah.
He's on the Grizzlies. You know he's on the Grizzlies?
I did not know that. I did not know he was on the Grizzlies right now.
I knew that.
But yeah, let's get down to brass tacks here, okay? So first off, Stephen Cheah, can you explain how the play-in game works? Because you were a little confused about it, right?
I just want to say I fucking hate the play-in system. I got the bracket open now. It is so fucking. Do we really need a 39-43 Bulls team going up against a 36-46 Hawks teams? You're under 500. You have no shot of winning anything once the real tournament starts. This is just a money grab. It's an unorganized, ugly bracket. Give me the 16 teams, and I'll follow from there, which probably means I'll start tuning in the conference finals.
Well, the East is, like, historically bad this year. Like, it's Boston, New York's okay.
That's it. It's Boston.
Everyone else stinks. Like, Embiid might be a factor, but the playing game works like this. The first 6 teams, 1 through 6, are guaranteed to make the playoffs. 7 and 8 is a play-in game. If you win that game, you are the 7th seed. So
the Lakers.
The Lakers were the 7th seed. The Lakers were the 8th seed. They played the 7th seed New Orleans Pelicans. They won. They're now the 7th seed. They're prize is they get the defending champion Denver Nuggets in the first round. If you lose the 7-8 game, you then play the winner of the 9-10 game. So last night we saw the Kings defeat the Warriors. They're the 9-10 seed. The Kings now advance for a 1-game play-in to make it to the playoffs as the 8th seed. If they lose, they're out.
Yeah, I get it. It's pretty
That's-
simple. It's
It's
pretty
simple, but it's at the same time way too much.
The West is awesome. So like the West is separated by like the Warriors were out for a little bit, but like a couple games. So the margin for error is razor thin.
Yeah, like really the only two dumpster fires here are the Bulls and the Hawks. That's the shit.
Correct.
The shit game.
Yes.
I think the system works when you do have like a strong conference like the West, but when you do have a shit conference like the East, it's like you're right.
Yeah.
Why the fuck do the Hawks even have a chance to even be in the playoffs when they're below 500? But I do kind of like how it does have you're like your teams have to stay in it further in the year, and I kind of like that. So like if you're in 10th place, you can't just tank. I think it kind of helps with like, you know, restraining teams from tanking, which I fucking hate the tanks. I know you two too, White Sox Dave.
I'm
So-
very anti-tank at this point in my life. Fuck
So
that.
I think that's a benefit of it. It's like if you're kind of in the mix, like the Jazz this year were kind of in the mix. They're like the 11-12 line, so they can't tank. Like they have to stay in it if they want to make the playoffs, but I don't know. The Eastern Conference is a fucking dumpster fire. So
the NBA is just doing too much. They had the in-season tournament. They got these play-in games.
But-
It's great.
What?
In-season tournament is great.
But they need to.
Yeah.
Why?
They need to help. Because they need to fix the regular season.
Why don't they just make the basketball better?
Because guys don't want to play.
Okay, well then, you know, was in the words of Ryan Whitney, sick league. All right, that's like
That's my question on these playing games though. If you're 8, 9, 10 seed or like Bulls, Sacramento Kings, Hawks, what motivation do you have to win those games as a player? Because you know you're just gonna get fucking steamrolled.
No. I mean, last year you saw the Lakers go to the Western Conference Finals. They were playing team. The Heat have
no
gone to
no player goes into a basketball game and says, "I want to lose this. I want."
I'm not saying want to lose, but like, are they gonna be fucking dive?
Yeah, like 8-over-1s do happen in the NBA. It's
I remember
historically
when
improbable,
Rare.
but
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
rare. But
The
it's,
Heat were in the finals
yes,
last year.
exactly.
They were in the play-in.
Max Strus went off.
among other people. Yes.
Fucking
Yeah. So, we'll start here. They play tonight, so this will already be wrapped up by the time this airs. But let's just get our Bulls out of the way. Who you taking tonight, Bulls or Hawks?
I mean, it doesn't matter.
That's my point. Like,
I mean,
you know,
it's just these two teams. If you're asking me, like last night, like Kings and Warriors, like I'm invested. Like whoever wins this game, like has the chance to get slaughtered by the loser of Philly, Miami, and then they're gonna get smoked by Boston. Yeah. So,
that's
I'm
what
gonna take Atlanta. They won a play-in game last year, so Atlanta.
Dana?
probably Atlanta, but I mean, I wouldn't say that they have like it's the NBA. No one like anybody can win on any night, so I don't think that even if they did play Philly or Miami, like they're not groundbreaking teams right now. So I like even if Atlanta does win, they could win 2 in a row. I really don't see that as too impossible. But they're gonna get fucking steamrolled by the Celtics either way. I hope it's Atlanta. I don't want the Celtics to play the Sixers or the Heat because I think they're actually decent. But the Bulls are just trash. I mean, why the fuck do they keep playing Vucevic? I'm so sick of seeing him on the box score whenever I look. He's a bum, and they keep paying him.
We just extended him. I know. We got 2 of the worst contracts in basketball. Like, Stephen Shea's like, why don't you guys care? We have 2 of the worst contracts in basketball. We don't have a top 50 player. What is there to fucking care about?
Kobe White's gotten a lot better this year.
Yeah, okay. He's a good
DeMar
player.
DeRozan is going to be a finalist for Clutch Player of the Year. Like, he's very good in the fourth quarter.
Hang a banner.
Oh, man,
Hang
yeah.
the fucking build
I'm
him a
just saying, like,
statue.
if you're the Bulls have the #1 attendance in the league, I believe.
No
Yeah,
shit.
because-
That's an issue too.
Dave you want to tank attendance.
I would love to.
How's
I
that
would
working
love
out
to.
for the White Sox? That's not changing the way Jerry operates.
No, there's still people that go to those games. I want it to be a ghost town. I want it to
And
be a ghost
listen-
town at the United Center for 81 of the 162 games that are played there in the winter and fall and spring. And then I want 0 people to be at Sox Park.
I don't want to completely diminish DeMar DeRozan and Kobe White because I do like them both. They play
So do
hard.
I.
Like they, in a perfect world,
Caruso's good too.
yeah, Caruso too. They are good pieces on a good team. But
Yeah.
You're sick
just
of
not.
you're sick of rooting for individuals. Great, Cody Whitehair got a lot better over the winter. Nobody gives a fuck because they don't
The
win.
Bears right tackle.
They don't win.
not even
Or Cody White. Kobe White. Just on the Raiders.
this is going well, boy.
Am I wrong though? You guys are focusing on the wrong shit. Cody Whitehair, whatever. It doesn't same fucking thing. I don't want to root for fucking awesome. Kobe
All right,
White
all right.
is good at basketball
Yeah.
now.
Who
Who gives a shit because they're 39 and 43?
The thing with the Bulls too is that like they went for it with they brought in Lonzo, obviously injuries. Levine's was always a fucking bum, but they tried to put together this core and they had to trade off a lot of picks and like younger players. They let Laurie go, and it's like everybody that like either got drafted from those trades or Laurie Markin has become like a fucking star. So they would have been a lot better off if they just stayed put, and now we're just watching this shit.
It's all right. So you guys said you're anti-taking. I'm not. Fucking trade everybody, tank for Cooper Flag, and let's fucking get this ship right. That's where I'm at. But whatever. We're spending way too much time on the Bulls and the Hawks. I want both of you to give me one team in the East besides the Celtics and the Bucks, because they're obviously the other.
The Bucks stink.
Okay, but sure, but they could figure it out. They got Giannis. That's all that
I
needs
don't
to be
know if
said.
they
Besides those teams, give me a dark horse to come out of the East. Cheah, you start.
I mean, if he's healthy, the Sixers are very dangerous with Embiid, but I think the clearest path, and I should preface with I am a Knicks fan, is the Knicks. They should. The Miami Heat are living on their reputation of like kicking it up to an extra gear in the playoffs, playoff Jimmy, all this stuff. And maybe they do that. Maybe they win the play-in game and they get the 7th seed and they play the Knicks, and that should be an ugly series and all that stuff. I think the Knicks should win whoever they play. If it is the Sixers with Embiid, let's see if he can make it through a 7-game series, or the Heat. I think they win that series. I don't think the Bucks advance past the Pacers. I think the Pacers are a better team. Giannis is missing at least game 1, if not more. He strained his calf. That can be a lingering injury. So he could miss that, potentially that entire series, if not a good chunk of it. I also just think the Pacers are a bad matchup for them and have done really well against them in the regular season. So I would look at the Knicks playing, a very overrated team in either the Sixers or the Heat, and then likely the Pacers, in which case they get Boston. I think they can play Boston tough. I don't think anybody's beating Boston in the East, though.
It would be kind of fun if you got the first round in the East, Knicks, Heat, Celtics, Sixers, like traditional rivals. I would check a box score for that for sure.
Cavs Magic.
Dana, who you got?
I'd probably go with the Pacers just because so I can see them beating the Bucks, and then let's say the Knicks beat whoever. I can see them also beating the Knicks because the Knicks are just so injured at all times. I don't see them getting to the finals. If the Celtics don't make it to the finals, the season is definitely not a success and a disaster. So I would probably say the Pacers, but I'm rooting for the Knicks, weirdly enough. Like they're scrappy, like they're always hurt, but they somehow just win games. And I fucking love Tibbs, so I'd say the Pacers are the Knicks.
All right, so a lot of Pacers love the 6-seeded Pacers.
That would be-
Bucks love. So even if I left the Bucks on the table, you said you wouldn't take them. You wouldn't take them as a second team.
They're not good. Like Damian Lillard is one of the worst defenders in the NBA, and he's just going to get exposed in the playoffs. Giannis is hurt. They don't really have a good bench. Like Chris Middleton's washed up. They're not good, and they've been like 17 and 19 or something since Doc Rivers took over. They're just not like a good team, and somehow they got the 3 seed. But I don't know. No, they should not be. If they make it to the finals, like I'll chop my dick off.
Damn.
Did you just take a shot at Pat Bev?
He's hurt.
No,
So
come
they don't have
on.
a good bench.
He's the good part of the bench.
Okay.
I thought he was hurt.
No, he's back.
He's back?
He's playing through a wrist.
Okay.
He's back. All right, that's kind of all you need to say about the East, right?
Yeah. It would.
I do like that Cavs Magic series though. Like that's a fun series in my eyes.
Banchero.
Yeah.
The Magic are, I don't want to say a fun team to watch because they are not very good on offense, but they have fun players like Paolo's awesome. Franz Wagner's awesome. Jalen Suggs is kind of brutal to watch when he's shooting the ball, but he is a really, really fun defender to watch, if that's possible, a perimeter defender to watch. So I kind of like the Magic.
Yeah, it would be a second round of Knicks Pacers would be cool too.
Yeah, that rivalry reignite that. There's an undertone where one of the Knicks, a guy who works for MSG, former player Wally Serbiak, made a comment a couple years, like 2 years ago, that was like, "There's no way Tyrese Halliburton is an All-Star." Maybe it was this season, and then Halliburton made the All-Star team, and so every time Tyrese Halliburton plays the Knicks, he like specifically goes after them and then calls out Wally Serbiak if Serbiak's on the call, like point to him and stuff like that.
I like that.
Like that.
What's the what's a scenario that the Celtics don't make the finals? So, like, as a Celtics guy,
if some bullshit with the Heat happens again, like that's like their boogeyman, and they're just, I don't know. The Heat are so frustrating because they just like coast in the middle in the regular season, and they come in and they just like light the playoffs on fire. That's probably, like, if they lost in the first round, I'd fucking kill myself. But I can see that being really the only way they don't make it to the finals would be the Heat.
So
I'm not worried about the Sixers. The Sixers are like the Celtics are the Sixers boogeyman. So like that, I'm not worried about at all. It's really just the Heat. But a Knicks Celtics series, I think, would be fucking electrifying.
That would be good. That would be good. All right, to the West. Who's your favorite, and who's your second, your top contender besides your favorite?
It's real chalky, but I think it's going to be hard for a team to beat Denver.
Yeah.
In a 7-game series. I would say there are two teams that I like to potentially make a run. I like Dallas. Dallas is playing really well. Luka's awesome. The pairing with Kyrie has actually worked. And since they traded for Daniel Gafford, who most people don't know, he played center for the I want to say the Bullets, the Wizards.
Oh yeah, we drafted him. We know him.
Yeah, so he's been a nice piece. They got Derek Lively, who's a young rookie, who's a rim runner, is a nice player. PJ Washington's been good as a 3-and-D stretch 4. But Dallas has been playing really well, so I think they could make a run. I think they're going to beat the Clippers because I don't think Kawhi is going to be fully ready for the first round. That's kind of like a pick'em series, but I like them. And then obviously they'd get the winner of the 1-8, which is probably going to be OKC. OKC is an interesting team. I don't really like them to make a run. But one team that could sneaky make a run that I hate that I'm even saying this is Phoenix. They've been playing really well lately, and Bradley Beal's been stepping up. They weren't healthy for almost the whole year, but he's a guy who lately in the past 2 weeks has really been scoring and facilitating. They're a team that is last by a wide margin in fourth quarter offense, so that's something as a gambler I would monitor. If they can get that fix, or if they cannot get that fix, they're a team to potentially live bet against in the fourth quarter. But it goes counterintuitive because they have 3 of likely the 4 or 5 best players in the court at all times with Beal, Booker, and Kevin Durant. So Phoenix is a team that gives Minnesota some problems, so I can see them escaping that. But then, the matchup against Denver is going to be tough in the next round.
All right, so Denver, Dallas, and then Phoenix somehow slides in there at third. What about you, Dana?
I think Denver. I think that's the easy answer. And then I hate that I'm saying this, but I'm more of a Cheah's a data guy, an analytics guy. I like to see what I see on the court, and the Timberwolves, I love watching them. And I don't I shouldn't have faith in them just based off that city's history and that team's history. But Towns is coming back. Edwards is a fucking killer, and Gobert is probably going to win Defensive Player of the Year. They are. I think this is their best chance maybe ever to make a move. And the Suns just, I don't know, they just haven't seemed right all year. I know they're kind of picking it up a little bit, but I'd probably say the T-Wolves as my dark horse, and I'm rooting for that city. They deserve some type of excitement. Minnesota deserves some type of finals run, even if they don't win, just get there. And I agree with Cheah. I think the Mavs are really hot right now, so probably those two would be my dark horses, if not Nuggets.
I want to piggyback on Dana, is that if the T-Wolves were not playing the Suns, I think they could potentially come out of the West. They're the one team that can give Denver issues just because they can throw a lot of different guys at Jokic. They typically will put Towns on him, who size-wise can stack up, and they have Gobert as kind of this free roamer. They have a lot of really good. Anthony Edwards is really good on defense. Jaden McDaniels is awesome at defense. Mike Conley is undersized, but he's a veteran player. So Minnesota definitely, if they can escape this first round against Phoenix, my issue with that is they suck against Phoenix. Phoenix throws like 3 guys at Ant. They clog the paint. So if they can get out of Phoenix, I think they could give Denver problems and would be their biggest obstacle.
It's so crazy. It seems like every team's somewhat of a threat here, besides whoever wins this playing game.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Whoever is this 8th seed everyone is a threat.
And honestly, if the Clippers were at 100% full health,
Who knows?
They would be absolutely a threat to win the championship.
Yeah. Like, I mean,
I
They're
could
not.
sneaky see if the Pelicans beat the Kings whenever they play. They would play the Thunder. I can see them winning that series just based off like the Thunder are so undersized. They don't have a center. Like they have Lou Dort playing power forward. He's like 6'6". And the Pelicans are fucking huge. Like they have wingspan. They have great defenders. So I could see that being one of those 1-8 games or 1-8 matchups where the Thunder don't make it out. Like I want to have faith in the Thunder, but it just doesn't seem like they won 57 games, but something just doesn't seem like they can make a run to me. I don't know if Cheah agrees with that, but they're just so young. They're small. They don't have any size. I don't know. No experience, but I could be wrong.
Rebounding is going to be a huge issue with the Thunder. If they had played the Lakers, I think they would have gotten smoked just because the Lakers are so big and can beat them up inside. Dana's right. With New Orleans, we'll see what they are. Zion appears to be hurt. I don't know if he's going to play tomorrow night. So we'll see if they can escape that. But
I got to say, it feels good just talking some ball for once, you know?
yeah.
Not talking about what type of pizza I'm fucking eating or what full sticks I'm putting in my ass and shit. No. Great.
What's a series?
put them in a box.
Yeah. What's a series in the first round that, like, if I'm a casual, like, this is a series to get you sucked back into the NBA?
I'd say Clippers Mavericks, maybe. What do you think, Cheah?
If Kawhi is healthy, I think that'll be an awesome series. I don't think he is. He's missed a couple games with a knee issue, and he obviously chronically injured. I mean, if you're looking for stars, Denver Lakers is going to be star-filled. That was a very competitive sweep last year, where the Lakers did play them tough, but Denver did sweep them. For a casual for first round, if you like ugly basketball but competitive basketball, like Eastern Conference playoff basketball, I think Cleveland Orlando is going to be a fun series.
Okay.
Like you're
That's
not
my
you're,
style of
you're not
basketball.
you're not going to see scores in the 120s, 130s. But you're going to see guys playing defense. You're probably going to see some 99 to 91 type games, but you're going to see good young players. Donovan Mitchell's not super young, but like Paolo, Franz Wagner, those guys. You're going to see the guys getting after it. Every possession is going to mean something. So if I'm a casual and I like that type of playoff basketball, that's what I'm going to gravitate towards.
1 second here. Let's talk about Vanderhagen razors. Make the switch from a cartridge razor to a safety razor today with Vanderhagen. Safety razors allow you to get a closer, more comfortable shave. The use of one-blade razors help prevent nicks and cuts while making your skin feel smoother than ever. The best part, these blades cost as little as $1 a piece and last anywhere from 3 to 5 shaves. This will save you thousands of dollars over the years compared to the cost of cartridge razors. The blades are ice-tempered stainless steel blades from Germany that are sharp enough to give you the perfect shave. The handle is made to last a lifetime, so the only recurring purchase you will have is for the blades. Dave, you got a forest on your face. These are nice for you.
Used them last week for the first time. It was smooth as this wood table right here. I had this back of this laptop. You could ice skate on my face.
I like that. Ice skate on your face. I would love to try. So check out your local Target and Rite Aid to get yourself a Vanderhagen safety razor today. It's a no-brainer, guys. Save yourself some money. Get that Vanderhagen safety razor. So the Lakers definitely fucked up by winning that game, though, right?
You can't predict like them. If they were to lose and they're playing Sacramento, they've lost, I think, 9 straight to Sacramento or something crazy. So I don't think that would be a very good position for them. Ideally, yeah, you're playing the Thunder, but you're going to have to play a lot of good teams to get out of the West, and Denver's just the first draw.
They have any chance against the Nuggets?
No, I don't think so. I mean, yeah, no. I would say 4-2, 4-1.
Yeah, I think it'll be 4-1. I mean, if you paid attention to the playoffs last year, D'Angelo Russell is a player who is really talented. He was the number 2 pick in the draft after Karl Anthony Towns. I think it was 2015, 2016, something like that. He got benched last year in the playoffs just because he couldn't play defense. Like there's such a premium on defense in the playoffs, and he's a really talented player. Did a big contract, got benched, like didn't play, and he worked on that like all offseason and has gotten a lot better this season. He's shooting the ball better and he's playing a lot better defense. And he's a guy who I think could make a lot more of a difference, whereas last year he like barely played in that series.
Mm-hmm. And I listen, I know Dana just went on the Thunder. Like a casual watching, like you could look at that West and you could at least know people on those rosters. Like you would know it if you saw it, like you said.
Russell, Ohio State.
Like we started off the show. Yeah. But like the Thunder is like one of those teams that they're a 1 seed. No one's giving them a shot. They also don't have these. Obviously, they have Chet. I know some Dort, like Dana said. Are you giving them a shot at all
to win the West?
Yeah.
I mean, every game 7 they would host, and they have a good home court advantage. I think they're like at least a year away, just because there's such a premium on rebounding in the playoffs, and they just don't have it. Like Chet is their center; he's rail thin. Jalen Williams, who is I think one of the more exciting players in the league. He's he plays power forward. He's like 6'8". He's more of a like point forward. He's out of Santa Clara. Really, really good player.
We haven't touched on SGA. I mean, he's going to be first.
SGA is going to be MVP runner-up or at worst third. Very, very good player. But Jalen Williams is a guy that I really like, but he's just not a rebounder. So they're going to get beat up inside. But, I mean, they're going to be able to score with teams, and they're going to be able to run with teams. And they can shoot, and they're tough, but they're just small.
Yeah. Anything else to add to that, Dana?
No, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they made it to the Western Conference Finals, but Jokic would just murder Chet during that whole series. And really, they don't have a whole lot of depth behind Chet, so I don't see them. No, it would be very surprising if they made it to the finals. But they're kind of like that team last year. They were in the play-in, and now they just made it to the 1 seed. So obviously, like, I think next year, no matter what happens, like, they're in a position to be one of the favorites. And I think if they make it to the Western Conference Finals, like, that's a huge success considering they were 500 last year.
But it feels like everyone's going to be itching to take that Dallas Clippers winner over them in the second round.
Probably. Yeah. I mean, Luka Doncic is, for my money, the most exciting player in the league. Like, he's awesome. And you got Kyrie with him, who's an incredible ball handler. Yeah, give me that.
Is Zion out? Do we know? Have they released anything as of this morning?
I'd be surprised if he plays tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like, he came out, he played probably his best game ever as a pro. He had 40 points, like 11 rebounds, a couple assists, and then just came up lame. He tied the game. They were losing most of the game. He tied the game with 3 minutes left for his 39th and 40th point, and then landed and just asked out of the game, and it seemed to be an injury he was familiar with. So any type of muscle injury, like 2 days before you get to play a game, it's unlikely you're going to play. But it's a big game, so maybe he does.
That's like the Zion we were all waiting for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so
and then we got the Zion we've seen all the time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. He was the best player in the court.
He gets a bad rap. I mean, he should be like second team, but he's probably on the fringe of third team All NBA. Like he's not. I know he's not as good as everyone thought he was going to be, but he's still like a potential All NBA player.
I just mean he's hurt all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but he's played a good amount of games this year, but I don't know. I think he gets a bad fucking rap. He's still nasty, and he's lost some weight, but I don't know. I think I'm on Zion's side with all the haters. I think they can go suck a dick.
You're on Zion's side with, putting on some weight?
Yeah.
Dude, it happens. He lives in New Orleans, for God's sake. What are you talking about?
Oh, man. All right, then. We can wrap this up. Let's wrap it up with your finals winner and against who.
Nuggets over Celtics in 6 games.
Dana, I know it's coming.
Celtics over Nuggets in 7 at the Garden. Fucking gonna be awesome. I'm gonna try and be there somehow.
Don't have home
I
court.
don't know, but I'm gonna be there.
Tatum's rising to the occasion. Game 7, playoffs, finals.
Yes. Dude, this team is different. This is not the 2021 Celtics. This is a whole different group we got.
Porzingis has made a huge difference for the Celtics because he's like a big guy who not only can stretch the floor and is like a very, very good shooter. Like he can shoot it to like 30 feet. Not that he does all the time, but sometimes he'll pull it from super deep. But he's a rim protector. They've done, I think, a pretty good job like managing their bigs and like injury maintenance and stuff. Like Porzingis missed a ton of games this year. Horford missed a ton of games, but it wasn't because like they were hurt. It's like we're just resting our guys for the playoffs.
Well, also they're so rested right now, and honestly, the number one concern I had about them heading into the season was their bench and their like lack of depth. But at this point, like Pritchard and Hauser
30-point
and
a game
all
guy,
like they're like playing legit minutes because the starters just rest every other game. So they have gotten like a lot of experience in real game time play. So it's like I'm not even worried about their bench anymore. They really are like 10 deep at this point. So I thought that was going to be their problem this year, but really it's been like a massive strength of theirs. So I don't know. We'll see.
Definitely the most pressure. Definitely the most pressure.
Oh, yeah. If they.
Well, I mean, Dana's either if they lose in the first round, he said he's going to kill himself, and if they lose before the finals, he's cutting his dick off. That's a lot of pressure.
If they make it to the finals and lose to the Nuggets, I think that's okay. Like that's not the end of the world. But if they don't make it there, it's a huge disappointment.
In DraftKings right now, they are minus 175 to come out of the East.
That's insane.
But it's.
No, I get it. Yeah,
They won the East, I think, by like 15 games.
Yeah.
64 and 18.
I'm excited to watch Ant. Like he seems like he's just like a dude, and I feel like he could take over a series.
I think all these West series are.
Yeah, they're all pretty compelling.
I mean, even the East first rounds. Like, I'm not saying a lot of these teams are going to do damage, but 3-6 Bucks Pacers. Like,
yeah, I like watching Halliburton. I probably watched more NBA this year than the last like 4 years combined, which means I had like a month where I watched like maybe parts of 2 games a week. Yeah.
So football is my favorite sport, and I love it because it's once a week. Like your team plays once a week. Like you can really care. Every position, every throw, every run, every block means something. NBA is certainly not the case, but from a day-to-day product, NBA is my favorite product to bet on, I think by a lot. It's just like consistent, it's clean. Of course, there's sometimes delays if they have to replay or review something, but overall it is a very fun product to bet on and watch and be involved in, and you know a lot of the players if you're watching them, and Dana can name every player in the league and where they went to college. So yeah, NBA is a very fun product to consume.
Yeah, but to compliment you bet on the right things as well. Like if you're betting spreads straight up,
sure.
NBA game 41, like I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah,
but you're taking player props.
I've taken Steven's bets.
Like it's a smart way to go about it if you're really following to see the matchups and to see who's kind of due. Like it is. You do it the right way. Last thing, actually, I forgot to ask this. Are we officially is the sod back over like the Warriors casket? Is this it?
Yeah.
I mean, Clay 0 for 10 in an elimination game. Just what's funny is they could have used Jordan Poole last night.
I was just going to say that.
A guard.
That was they had their guy.
Yeah.
And now he's a joke on the Wizards.
Yeah.
If they signed him, he was the perfect guy for them. And now they're just crumbling, and Jordan Poole's like irrelevant, and he was nasty for them. And then it's just like, I don't know really what happened, but they fucked it up.
Draymond punched him. That's what happened.
That's what it was. Yeah. Holy shit. I forgot about that.
I still think it's okay, though. They're not going to regret it that much, losing a 9-10 for giving him that $100 million contract or whatever he got. So I think it's a wash. But sure, they could have used him one night.
I mean, they could have used him throughout the season. It's just Steph Curry looked, as a guy who bet on him, Steph Curry looked very tired last night. Like he got his pocket picked by Keon Ellis like 3 times. Keon Ellis is a good defender, but like Steph Curry is one of the greatest players to ever play this game. He's in an elimination game. Last time he was in an elimination game in Sacramento, he dropped 50 points. So yeah, the Warriors were just kind of a shell of themselves this season. Draymond getting suspended for however many, 16, 20 games was ridiculous, and kind of put them in a situation where they're in a 1-game lose and go home. So they're pretty crushed, and I would be surprised if Clay left and all his leverage is gone. Like, how do you approach a team and be like, hey, you want to sign me? Just last game you go 0 for 10. You're just a complete shell of yourself. So I hope he stays with Golden State. He should be a 1 jersey guy, but we'll see what happens.
Damn, you don't think anyone would want him, huh?
I mean,
for
If,
what
if he's
gonna
leaving,
want.
you're assuming he's leaving for the money.
Watch the Bulls go sign him.
Yeah.
Probably. All right, guys. Thank you. Anything else?
No,
Should
that
be
was
fun
great.
playoffs.
Yeah.
Love talking ball. Anytime you want to talk ball, let me know.
Do you want to tell a quick pool cue up your ass story before you leave?
No, none of that.
All right.
I'm 31. I gotta wrap those up.
All right, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, next guys.
Later.
Dave, did that fire you up at all?
I gotta say, Dana and Shay did not sell me.
Really? Not at all.
Bulls play tonight, correct?
Yeah.
They do.
Tonight isn't Wednesday, or
Yes.
tonight's Wednesday.
Yeah.
I would be stunned if I remember that they're playing and that I'd turn on 1 second of it.
I will probably turn on at least 1 second of that game.
Lance,
What happens if
anything to
DeMar
say?
DeRozan's daughter's screaming during free throws?
Yeah.
That's
We
a
talked
moment.
about that Tuesday with Danny too. Lance, any optimism here? You're the young pup. And
You're also the most optimistic guy I think I've ever met in my life.
Well, thank you. Yeah, I mean, I try to be optimistic. With the Bulls, I think it's more like I've always liked DeMar DeRozan. I've always thought he's awesome ever since the Raptors, since 2013. So it's like we get to watch playoff basketball. Like last night, like watching LeBron, it's like we don't have a lot of games left of LeBron. So I'm now like doing the whole like bird's eye view look at it. Like, well, at least we get to watch playoff basketball and the Bulls are in it, you know? But
That's
no.
what they want you to think, Lance. That's how they want you to feel.
Yeah, I guess. But yeah, I'm not necessarily optimistic that the Bulls are gonna do any damage. But the Bulls have played pretty well against teams that are better than them. So there's a good chance that they could do some damage and make it competitive. But no, probably not very optimistic.
There you
Yeah, I
have
mean, they're
it.
drawing dead, but they could win tonight, absolutely.
Yeah, but then where does that get you?
Wonderful.
Whatever.
What's the
Wonderful.
fucking point?
It is
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah.
But it'll, hopefully the energy's good. And-
The ceiling for the Bulls, based on their seeding, is to play the Celtics in the first round.
which is
Celtics are a historically great team this season. So.
yeah. So that's where you end up if that's your prize.
Yeah.
So, thank you, Che.
Cool. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you. Nothing else piqued your interest there, David? Like there was nothing non-Bulls related. Like, hey, you know what?
All that piqued my interest is anytime anybody would name a player, I'd be like, yeah, I know where he went. I know where he went. I just forget they existed the moment they get drafted into the NBA at this stage of my life.
Yeah.
Like D'Angelo Russell, I remember thinking this guy should be, I obviously he was second overall. I thought it was third when he said second, though. I specifically remember him playing against Northwestern and thinking he was the greatest player of all time. Like the greatest point guard I had seen in a long time outside of D-Rose. Like other guys, Kawhi, was he Sacramento State or he was UC Long Beach or
I
something?
think it was San Diego State.
San Diego.
San Diego State. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just for me. It's just I will never choose an NBA playoff game over a NHL playoff game. Like as a neutral. Like I'd much rather.
I
watch,
even win it at this point.
I'd much rather watch Rangers Washington against, and I think that's probably the worst series than any one of those. So it's always going to be tough. And I like basketball. I love playing basketball here. I like talking about basketball more than I like watching it, I guess. But
I think a lot of people feel that way.
yeah, so I enjoy having
lot of
those
people
guys
feel
on
that
and
way.
know what they're talking about. And I find like the conversation interesting, but then I have a hard time with it. And I used to love it. I used to be like, and I'm talking like, yeah, like you said, Rose, like
I didn't miss a single
2013,
82
yeah.
games a year, including plus playoffs games. I would say I watched 70 of those 82.
Well, what about you, Ed? You're
On
probably
a
the biggest
year.
basketball guy of the three of us.
Yeah, I really lost a lot of steam.
Pandemic.
Probably since like COVID. Yeah, but
Yeah.
you know when it really started though is, and people are going to get mad at this potentially, but I don't care. The Durant thing kind of just ruined basketball for me. Like it just got to a point
The
where,
super team, you mean?
yeah, they were so like you go to a 73 win team,
Yeah,
like it just broke the system. Like there was no hope for anybody.
yeah. Well, but I
like
think if,
potentially a great rivalry.
mhm.
Cavs and Warriors that could have set up for an awesome era of basketball was just crushed by a guy to just go to the best team of all time for regular
Yeah.
season record wise.
So, but to that point, if you look at the West now, it's really reverted back. Like there's a lot of like the Suns are interesting. They're more of like the super team, but like the Timberwolves are just kind of built from within.
Yeah.
You know, and I really enjoy Anthony Edwards. I think he's like kind of a throwback, has like a big time attitude kind of guy, like a fuck you guy.
Yeah,
I
know that much even.
I hate but it's very premature, but it feels like he has like that Kobe streak to him a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then SGA, like they're Halliburton, there's like fun new players, and I'm kind of excited. Like when I asked Cheah about like give me a series that can draw in like the casual, and he gave me like Nuggets Lakers, it's like, well, I already fucking know everything. Like I'm not really interested in that. Like I've seen LeBron play for 20 fucking years. I understand Lance's point about, we don't have that many games of LeBron left. I don't even fucking care. Like I've seen 2 decades of LeBron. I'm ready for like new blood, new rivalries, all that. I like the traditional rivalry franchises, but I want like new blood in the mix. So,
and that's there, and I acknowledge that, but still, that era, it just sucked me out of it so hard, and I think now I'm just kind of realizing where it's like, oh no, I know it's not like that anymore, but I'm still having a hard time putting the toothpaste back in the tube.
I also, and I'm sure there's a million reasons for this, like the game. Like when I was in high school, and you had like the Pistons and the Nets coming out of the East, and like the games would be in the 70s. Like that wasn't a good product, but I think it's gone too far the other way now too. It used to be great when you get like these very contested Bulls, Pacers, even like Pistons, Celtics with the KG, and those teams had like that rivalry. Heat, Celtics. Like there were great Bulls Heat for a minute had like that kind of vibe to it where it's like, all right, like these teams like fucking hate each other and it's going to be a war. Now it just feels like, all right, now it's your turn to shoot a 3. Your turn to shoot a 3. So it's to me, it's not as compelling of a product as it was
back in the day,
20 years ago. And I actually feel the opposite about the NHL. So it's not just like I'm glorifying some previous era. I think the NHL playoffs, there's probably more parity. It's more open, but the playoffs, it still gets like fucking nasty and face washes and the fights and all that. Like all that's going to explode that first night. And the NBA just doesn't have like that bite to it anymore. It kind of sucks.
Yeah, hopefully it changes around here though.
Yeah,
because like that's why I honestly was intrigued to bring them on.
Yeah,
like you guys know, if you're a weekly listener, we neglect the shit out of the NBA.
Yeah, but I feel like the Bulls neglect the shit out of
That's
us.
Exactly it. That's how are you supposed to.
I enjoyed watching that when that first 3-4 months when they were all healthy with Levine,
I was watching them.
with Levine and Lonzo and DeMar. Like that was like a fun 3 months of basketball.
Mm-hmm.
And they like the way that Lonzo kind of played was, like it was compelling. And it was the first time that they had been like even competent since Rose and Butler and all those guys. So it was like a nice, it's like, all right, we left like the Garpax era. We got this team. We probably know what their ceiling is, but they're the 1 seed right now and they're fun. And then it just, that only lasts 3 months.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, we could turn the page to baseball. Before we do, though, I want to talk about summer road trip season. It's coming up quick, and now is the perfect time to get a new Chevy. The SUV lineup in the new Silverado truck has all the space you need to comfortably get to where you're going. ChevyDriveChicago.com has the latest offers on all vehicles and can help you find your local Chevy dealer. Every Chevy is a number 1 pick. ChevyDriveChicago.com is the official truck partner of the Chicago Bears.
It's the best. Big Chevy guy. I might get one of those little stickers that show the Chevy pissing on something else. Like that's how much I love Chevy.
You should get a Chevy tattoo.
I'm not a tattoo
guy,
but
You're a Chevy guy though.
I am. It's Americana, Dave.
It's Americana. So is getting tattoos.
Yeah.
I had my my grammar school football coach at a Chevy tattoo.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I feel like that's like a NASCAR move. Like you gotta like love like.
He loved it. He was in his 20s too. Like he was like a younger guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So shout out to Chevy. Go check out that fleet at ChevyDriveChicago.com to learn more. All right, Michael Bush, the best player in baseball.
I said that.
Yeah, he's fucking awesome, Dave.
Said that 2 weeks ago
Yeah.
to Cerami.
They didn't really give up too much for him either.
No, they didn't.
Probably anybody could have won.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's fucking awesome.
Would they even trade for him? You don't even
I
know.
don't even know. Well, now they got a guy first base just
Bonafide left-handed power bat right in the middle.
mashes.
Of the yeah.
Really exactly what was missing from last year's team. And I got Morel kind of doing it at third base too. So they're a fun team. The only thing that's kind of sad about the Cubs is Hendricks looks.
Yeah, he might be cook-o-load.
I feel like every time people are like he's cooked, he has
a resurgence.
Yeah. So I wonder if he's got one. This is the last. Like they picked up his option. I think this is his last year. I hope he doesn't just go out like this. So I'm hoping when the weather turns and he gets a little kind of into the season, because he always starts slow, he'll find it. But last night was kind of rough.
Yeah, I just hope he finds some way to contribute to this team.
And maybe when you get Steele and Tyon back, you don't move Ben Brown. Ben Brown looks fucking awesome.
He does.
And maybe Hendricks just becomes like the like a Drew Smiley kind of like long middle relief guy out of the bullpen. Somebody goes 4 innings, Hendricks comes in, gives you two to three.
Yeah, like that's what I'm saying. Like I just hope in some way they figure out how to keep him on the roster and contribute. If not, it was a great run.
If you DFA, if you get rid of Kyle Hendricks, like that'd
be a sad ending.
Yeah,
that'd be a very sad ending.
I think he's.
But like it's been a
10-year run.
Yeah, but it's been a run of sad endings.
Is he
for that 2016?
Is he a number retired guy?
It's a good question. I mean, dude, they gave him the ball, the number one starter that playoffs, and it was like, hey, like Arrieta was like your Cy Young, and like that was like they gave him like that's like speaks to how good he is, and I hope it's remembered that way, and I think it will.
I don't know that it will, because he's just such an unassuming guy. I mean, he hasn't been for a few years.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good question
because
like Lester was the free agent signing that like changed everything.
Right.
And then Arrieta obviously was a stud, Cy Young, like had one of the best pitching seasons like ever. Like does like Hendricks slot?
Hendricks finished third in Cy Young in 2016.
Yeah.
Like he was
awesome.
He was awesome.
I'm looking at these numbers now. His fastball's up a half mile an hour. Not that really matters for him, but his home run rate just it's exploded. It's 3 times or so about what it is historically. Yeah, 12% is what his career total. It's at 35% now. That always.
What's the explanation?
Yeah, like why does that happen? Like what
like,
could that be?
Could you get older and like your fastball flattens out or something like that?
I mean with his fastball throughout his career is average 87.6 mile an hour. This year it's averaging 88.2. There is something to that.
That it could just flatten out.
Yeah, it's flattened out because there's more velocity.
Yeah.
So he's not a guy that needs that.
He needs to get a little tired.
That's an old school way of thinking, but there's a lot of people that say that
for a guy like
it takes
him.
a few. Yeah, it takes a few starts, like a month even.
I think he's got one more summer where he's like, sitting around 4 or 5 ERA, 4.5, and like contributing, giving your team a chance to win.
If he can give you like 140 innings the rest of the year at like a 4.5, that's fine.
Yeah,
you need guys to eat and soak up innings.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, the Cubs are fine. The Cubs are fine.
I think they're more than fine. Yeah. I think they're a fucking good team.
Yeah, they're
good up the middle. Nico's heating up a little.
We're halfway through this April.
Yeah,
over 500. Like we said,
and it was a tough
April.
Yeah,
kind of got to gut it out. So we'll see.
Miami coming in this weekend, like nice little homestand behind that. So
beat the shit out of them. Yeah.
Hopefully they get the D-backs today in the rubber match. So I don't know. It's just kind of it's a pleasant watch. The Cubs are a pleasant watch.
Yeah, and like Ben Brown. Have you watched his starts, Dave?
Mm-hmm.
That curveball is fucking.
He's filthy,
electric, and he throws 98, 99. Like it's like a pure 12-6. Like he
reminds me of young like Wayno, kind of.
Okay. Yeah, I mean his last start, I think he had six innings, 1 hit ball. So if there's a lot of talk about they got to have another pitcher, they got to go sign this other third baseman. It just feels like Maybe Jed was just like, I like what we have.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I trust these guys. So. I don't know. It's an exciting time. It's going to be a fun summer.
You just had Wayno on your music podcast, right?
I did. He's on a country tour right now.
How was that?
Honestly, I had no idea, and I hate Zoom interviews because you're being in the room, it brings out the best in all parties involved in an interview. But as far as Zoom interviews go, he was one of the better for any show I've done.
Really?
He was awesome. Yeah, he was he would bounce back questions. He wasn't monotone. And he's got awesome stories. I mean, he's been in the league 20 years and had an awesome career. And
you guys talk ball or mostly music?
Both. Because Bronson Arroyo did something similar. So he's like a touring musician now. He's got all these songs that he's talking about how he's gonna like take his experience in baseball and turn them into country songs, which I think is cool. So it was a good combo. It was a really good combo.
Good. On that note, anything on the White Sox?
What would you like to know about the White Sox, Ed?
If there's nothing. That's fine. I'm not trying to.
It's
ask you to comment.
I was in Virginia Sunday and Monday. Couldn't watch them because I was traveling. They were canceled yesterday. I went Saturday with Tyler Hubbard. They lost that game, and Tyler was like, "Man, this is really boring." And I'm like, "It's as boring as it can get for a professional organization in sports." I don't know. It's a pathetic organization, and nothing will change until Jerry Reinsdorf dies. That's just a fact of life, and it sucks to say that, but that's the honest truth. Nothing will change. It's a lost organization until that old man father time takes.
Was that Belichick at the game?
Yeah, he was with Ozzy.
Yeah, it was Ozzy, Belichick, and La Russa. You didn't see that picture?
No.
Oh,
Yeah.
It was hilarious. It was.
No, I didn't. I knew that Belichick. I think Belichick, Parcells, and La Russa are all friends.
I'm sure there's a
Yeah.
tight coaching circle amongst all the olds like that. How old's Belichick? 70?
It's like almost 70. Yeah.
Yeah, 70.
69
and
or
La Russa's
70.
like 80. Yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
I'm not kidding when I say this. Like, I don't know if Bill Belichick. We heard this when old Nebraska coach. Why am I blanking his name? He was in the old office.
Bo Pelini.
Bo Pelini.
Yeah.
He's like, I sent Bill. I don't know the whole story. I sent him, and he's like, I'm about to catch a flight, and I'll let you know on this player. Like, he did an entire history, like book report on this one player. Like, he's a football nut.
Yeah.
I don't know if he even knows what baseball is.
I know he's a big,
figuratively speaking,
big lacrosse
and
guy.
I would take. Yeah, he was at Northwestern lacrosse too.
Oh yeah.
Their women's
So
team because they're always
Tony Amonte's sister was a coach.
or
was.
Kelly Almonte Hiller or something.
Whatever, yeah.
I would take him right now to coach the Chicago White Sox, and that's not a joke in any single way. That's not a joke. I would take Bill Belichick right now because I
can't even get an NFL job.
I would take him right now over baseball lifer Pedro Griffel to coach the Chicago White Sox. At least there would be a respect in the locker room, I would imagine. And
What are they? 2-16?
2 I don't fucking know. 2 something. And I'm pissed they won those 2 fucking games because I bet against them. Those cocksuckers.
Yeah, it's
Worst run differential in baseball by far. They
are 2-14.
Yeah,
My apologies.
they've been shut out 6 times in the first 16 games. The last time that happened was in like 1903 with a team I didn't even know existed. I don't even know how to pronounce it. The Brooklyn Superbas.
I saw that. I read it like Super Bras when I saw it.
Yeah, like Superba,
Yeah.
Superba. What's this?
Yeah,
Whatever
I don't
it
know.
is. It's but like I keep like people are like, oh, this is Guts. I'm like, Guts obviously assembled this roster, but it was with the constraint of you have to gut the payroll as much as humanly possible. And like when we talked to Getz over in Arizona this spring or winter or whatever it was, I understood why he went after the players he did. Because on paper, it's like, oh, the starting pitching, which it hasn't been horrific. It's been like middle of the pack league-wide, I'd guess. At least give them a good defense behind them. Maybe they look better than they actually are. You could flip them because, defense is saving runs, all that stuff, blah, blah, blah. The team is a single A, double A lineup.
Yeah.
I mean, Maldonado is so fucking cooked. It's unbelievable. Same with DeYoung. Nicky Lopez is struggling mightily. Not that he ever really was a hitter at all. And then Robert, that fucking pussy Eloy is soft tissue Eloy.
Soft tissue Eloy.
Robert, of course, it sucks because he's actually good, but it's a bad.
I blame Barstool Chief for saying he was going to take the team total over.
I didn't end up taking it, but yeah,
I did.
Though.
I threw 100 on it.
Yeah, doesn't look great.
No,
It's like it's hard to be 10 games out on April 17th.
now
That feels
I'd
like
like
fucking
to,
impossible.
Yeah. It's,
now here's a question for you guys. And this might have happened recently with you. I don't know. I mean, it's different because the Sox can only pick 10th. No, if they lose out the rest of the year, but it's gotten to the point where I want them to lose every single fucking game they play just so they are a national embarrassment. Not that I necessarily root against them, but when they do lose inevitably each game they play, I'm just like, good, keep fucking losing, you know?
Yeah, the only time I felt like that was after they traded Kane last year, because then it was like, all right, we gotta get Bedard, you know. Like,
but that was for Bedard. That was like I get
where I like hated them. No, it was like I never had that personally with the Hawks, because you still like so things been bad for. They've been really bad since 2017.
Mm-hmm.
So they got swept in that,
Yeah.
but they won the West that year.
I remember, yeah.
And then Stan like fucked everything up that summer, in summer of 18. And but it was like you still have Taves and Kane and Keith and like I was never like ready to just
Oh no, I don't have that.
Yeah,
it's a bunch of guys
right.
that like know they're gone next year.
Exactly.
If that. Like, I mean.
Yeah, no, it's a different animal, and I never hated.
I want them to feel great amount of shame.
I don't even like it's crazy, but like I don't even. It's like I always talk about like how bad it was for the Hawks fans before Rocky Wirtz took over for his dad who died, Bill Wirtz. But it's like that was so long ago, and there's so many great memories between the absolute dark ages and then like when the dark ages were going on. I was like in college, so it was like for me it was like I'll spend $4 on a ticket and go. Like it was just like I was kind of like apathetic to it, in a sense. But yeah, I never like outwardly hated them.
I hate they're a detestable organization, but like you can go back years to the lying that they right to our faces. I'll give an example, and you can find the video. I'm sure I asked Rick Hahn at Reggie's Live if I didn't use any names. I said hypothetically, if a player cost $300 million for 10 years, would that money be available? Because you guys have never signed anybody actually any good.
Yeah.
And the answer was yes. Fast forward to last August, it said we are not doing we're not scouring the bowels of baseball to find a competent front office. We got to get this thing turned around as fast as possible because we owe it to the fan. And then you go and hire from within for a guy that. And AJ Pierzynski said this best. Like, sure, he was handed the players he was handed in the front office prior to Getz. Sucked at drafting. Sure, that's true. But every fucking team in baseball, like not one farm director in baseball is in charge of drafting players.
Right.
They're all just getting players handed to them, and some of them are better at developing others. And the White Sox didn't develop anybody really any good. Tim Anderson, sure. Berger, maybe, sure. I mean. Sale was
kinda. Yeah.
Sale was a finished product. Like a few of those guys.
Missing on like two top 5 picks.
Vaughn is people are calling for him to be sent down because he never even played minor league baseball because he was a pandemic pick, and he was handed the left field job the next year. It's and so he's got options left, and he's in his 4th year. It's like send him down. It's a magical fucking.
Are you writing him off already, Vaughn?
Already.
Yeah, it's still a couple years.
It's
year 4.
Yeah.
Year 4.
So what is he? 26?
Yeah,
something like that.
Yeah.
Like,
he is who he is at this point, Ed.
Can you can you do the opposite of wax poetically about Andrew Benintendi?
Do you know what wax poetic means?
Yeah, I know. I'm the opposite. Wax poetically is like saying something nice.
No, wax poetics like
that's nice, right?
Virtue signaling, kind of.
No,
I think
wax poetically just means you say something very eloquently.
Yeah.
Maybe you're
waxing poetic to me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's right.
I nailed it.
To speaking in verbose manner as if constructing.
Yeah,
But
so like
you-
poetry is like seen as nice.
No, but you could say something. You can wax poetically and say something negative.
Yeah.
All right. My apologies, people. You know what I was trying to
Yeah.
say.
No, Andrew. I mean, that's the highest paid player in the organization's history, and he's a slapdick that should be probably out of baseball at this juncture. But what I was gonna say was, you fast forward to August, he's got to turn this thing around within a year, and then you automatically direct him to slash payroll as much as possible and only allow him to sign a couple. Like, they weren't allowed to sign Mike Clevenger until they traded Cease and his $8 million that he was owed this year
It's like
away.
$8 million. What the fuck is it? Who was the guy that Cubs signed from Colorado? It was like 3 years, $39 million. And
That Tyler Chatwood.
yeah, Chatwood,
Yeah.
Chatwood, and he like fucking like sucked. But it was just like, and people are just like, whatever, $13 million a year. It's like
So Jerry, like, my point is that the organization continually lies to my face. If like Chris gets like, why can't we overachieve? Why can't we overachieve? The defense is going to be good. We had to get rid of these guys. Like, don't count us out yet. And it's like, all right, we did this ourselves after we interviewed him, and it's okay. I'll do that for you. And then you go out and put out in 2 and 14 record,
14.
first 16 games with no end in sight to that. It's just a continuation of lies. And the fan base is right.
I don't know if Getz
pissed.
was lying.
No, it wasn't lying, but like, what he should have done was he wasn't lying, but he wasn't telling the truth. He should have been like, you know what? Or at least under promised and over delivered, because he over promised already.
Yeah.
In the conversation he had with us, at least. And what he should have done was been like, you know what? It's going to be a really painful couple of years. I know you guys just went through this, but gut this out with me one more time. I'm different, like he already said. Like, he should have just been straight up. And at that point, we would have accepted it like we did in 2016. Not accepted it. We've been
I
much
don't think
more
there's any
pissed.
yeah.
But
You already played that card.
for sure. But like, at least it wouldn't have been you spitting in our face and trying to sell us like shit dressed up in
Yeah.
or-
Lipstick on a pig.
lipstick on it. Yeah.
Yeah, all valid, Dave.
Yeah.
I'd like
Fuck
to,
that organization.
I'd like to steer back into positivity. I'd like to end the show with this. If this is fine. Anything Blackhawks? Mind if we end it with Bears real quick?
Yeah, I think I'm ready to just close the book on this season for the Hawks, but there is that Frankie Nazar goal.
Oh yes, sorry,
Yeah.
I totally forgot about that debut. That was awesome.
Yeah, so he made his debut like there. You know, when like in 14 with the Cubs, where it was like starting, it's like that process is now starting. Where like they have Bedard, everybody knows about Bedard. Nazar, he looks like a nice player, and I watch a shit ton of college hockey, Big Ten Network, Michigan and Minnesota, because the Hawks have Oliver Moore and Renzel in Minnesota. Nazar's on Michigan. So Nazar first game, I think it was the first period, got a goal, breakaway, snipe.
Saw it, yeah.
Awesome. And it was just like, all right. So like, I really do believe, because like you always say, prospects will break your heart, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of, and people in general, especially here, you always focus on your own guys. Like, I never really loved Lucas Reichel or Boquist or any of those guys. I really like Nazar. So I think, like, if you're like, all right, he can play somewhere in this top 9. Now you got him and Bedard. Kurashev's nice. And then if you look at the defense, they just called up Ethan Del Mastro. He made his debut the other night. He looks like a guy who could be, he's going to be an NHL player. What his ceiling is, he might be a top 4 kind of shutdown guy, just like Vlasic. They're deep. So you're going to have Vlasic is 6'6", Renzel is 6'5". That's your top pair. They both look like they're going to be studs. Renzel's another year or so away, but he looks legit as fuck. Then you got Seth Jones and Connor Murphy are still in the mix. You got Del Mastro's in the mix. I didn't even say who was the 7th overall pick. He had a little bit of a rough year, but he never should have been in the NHL. Kevin Korchinski, like he's gonna be a good player. Like, it's starting to come together, and then they're gonna have another top 4 pick this year. So they're gonna add to that, and it's like, all right, like, and if they do things the right way this summer, it's not inconceivable that they could be a good team next year. Like, and I mean, like 7-8 seed in the mix of the, kind of like we saw this yesterday was like crazy day for hockey with, you had 4 teams going for 1 spot, Two of them were playing, but it was like you're in that chase. Like the Red Wings were in that chase, the Flyers were in Pittsburgh. And like I could, if they have a good summer and some of these guys take a step, like if Nazar's actually ready, because it's just because you get called up at the end of the year in the NHL, you could get set. You could play all next year in Rockford. Like that happens all the time. But if he's like ready and he's a contributor, like he's a better talent than anybody on the team except for Bedard. So like you can there's a gleam, and it's like I'm ready to start enjoying them again, and I hope Davidson does his job this summer and doesn't like pussyfoot around and be like, let's extend the rebuild another year, and then Taylor Hall comes back, Anthony Ciu a full year. Like they should be more competitive next year and more fun to watch, and because this year even with Bedard it was a hard watch. And they went through a stretch, not like what the White Sox did. When Bedard was out, it's like there's no reason to watch this team whatsoever.
Yeah.
And I don't think that'll be the case going forward. I think they should be a pretty good team. And like I said, like in the mix, hopefully next year, challenging for that last wild card spot.
There we go. Frank Nazar, welcome to the show.
Yep.
All right, I could hold this or we could do it. What do you guys want to do?
Let's do it.
All right. Obviously, listen, our Lord and Savior 1 week from today will be on our under center for the Chicago Bears. Now, with all the steam, obviously, it sounds like JJ is moving up, and there's going to be 3 quarterbacks taken between 2 and 7. You assume Joe Alt's going to go in there. What will it take? What would you guys reasonably give up for the Bears to move up from 9 to grab Marvin Harrison Jr.? Because, like, I'm having dirty thoughts about it.
What do you think the price is? What's your price?
I don't know. Like, so here's the thing. Obviously, you're going to have to give up 9.
Yeah.
And, like, does 9 and a first rounder next year get it done? And would you do that?
I don't think I would.
Because it's going to be like hopefully in a perfect world, like 20 something.
Yeah.
At that point, it's like a crapshoot.
Yes.
I'd do that for Marvin Harrison.
I
Fuck
think,
yeah.
I think it depends on who's there at night. Like I know Harrison's unbelievable. Odunze and Neighbors are both
awesome.
Like, they're both awesome too. And then now you already have 2 very good wide receivers. Like, do you need, like, how does that? I don't know.
But
I think they have bigger
about
holes.
growth. We're talking about trajectory. We're talking about pairing someone with Caleb Williams. Be like, hey, you guys are locking arms for the next fucking 12
years.
I'm more inclined to trade back than I am to trade up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Now, listen, I admit I'm being like an idiotic, like, fucking meatball fan.
Yeah.
Sitting here because Odunze is a very good wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
He has a skill set that would complement the other 2 guys well. Neighbors makes me nervous because of that. Like, I understand, like, in a league where Tyreek Hill is arguably the biggest game changer, and it doesn't matter, a guy who's 6 foot. But with DJ and, Keenan Allen, who knows about the uncertainties. In the last year of his deal, I hope they extend him for 2 years. But I don't know. There's just something that gets me real horny for Marvin Harrison Jr.
No, I mean, he's...
And Cam Williams, like,
he's very special. Yeah. I guess there are other... I think this is a very deep receiver draft, and it's like they have their playmakers there. So, like, I almost feel like you're better off. Like, I really like that Troy Franklin from Oregon as a guy later. Maybe so if you move back and I want another defensive lineman. I don't care if it's an interior guy to put next to Gervon Dexter or another edge, but like that does feel like that's a position of need more so than receiver. And it's like I want to build a team. I don't want to build like a fantasy team. And moving up for Marvin Harrison feels a little bit like moving for a
valid. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah, no, I understand. I mean, he's a tantalizing talent. He definitely like I would not be like, what the fuck are you doing? But it would be. I think they're either better off staying, keeping that extra pick for next year because you always need fucking picks.
Yeah.
So I'd rather stay at 9 and hopefully one of the other 2 guys are there. And if they're not there, then
they're going to be one of those guys.
I don't know. A lot of it kind of depends on what the Patriots
go Williams, Mayer Daniels or McCarthy, May Daniels or McCarthy, May Daniels.
I don't know.
McCarthy.
I don't think.
I'm pretty sure that their quarterbacks are going to go top 4. I would be pretty surprised if they don't.
So the first receiver off the board is Arizona at 3. Or at 4?
No, 5. That would be 5.
Arizona's not taking a quarterback.
So no, that's not.
Oh, you see,
no,
Minnesota trades up or something.
Yeah. So who's got the 5th pick right?
Chargers.
The Chargers.
Harbaugh.
Oh yeah. The Chargers. So this has Arizona trading up for Marvin Harrison Jr. at 5. This is just a mock draft I googled just to see the draft order, but saying it would take the 11th pick and the 5th pick
From
next
Minnesota.
year. or this year, yeah.
Yeah, like if you're assuming there are 7 slots and 3 of them are quarterbacks, one of them is Marvin Harrison Jr., one of them is Malik Neighbors, one of them is Joe Alt, then it's like there's like one spot to play with if Odunze falls to 9.
Yeah.
You know, and obviously Turner, like people like him a lot too. So
Yeah, I mean Jared Verse, but it's like I mean we don't have to go through this. We can probably do this more next week. But like Donovan Mitchell from Texas is like a 6'4" like stud. Keon Coleman's a stud. Troy Franklin's a stud. Like you might not get like this perennial All-Pro guy, but maybe you get that on the defensive line, and then you get like a very competent wide receiver who can learn from Keenan Allen and DJ Moore for you. You know, like that to me is that is probably my preference as we sit here right now. But I will have a hard on if they do that. If they do it. Yeah.
Now listen, and like I know where your brain was at when you made that fantasy football comment, but that's the reality now. You need these wide receivers to win. And I understand we have guys in place right now, but I just don't know the longevity.
Yeah. I also, in my brain, I have committed to playing a lot of 21 next year, personnel. I want the 2 tight ends. I want to run the ball. I want to make things easy for Caleb. And it's like, so if you draft, then you're automatically going away from that. So I don't know. Whatever. I kind of just trust polls at this point. But it does feel like because everyone's going to be jockeying, trying to move up to get the quarterbacks, that I feel like the price to move up in general is going to be very steep. Because if you want to move up to 5 to take to 4 or 5 to take Harrison, somebody else, Minnesota, Raiders, maybe even the Giants want to move up a little bit to get the quarterback that they want. There's a lot of teams that are going to be trying to move up into that 4th spot, not necessarily for Marvin Harrison Jr. So I think the price tag is going to be steep.
It's probably going to be more than what I said.
Yeah,
for sure.
So I'm not super interested in doing that. So I either want to stay at 9 and take one of the 3 receivers who are projected to be there. I would take Joe Alt. I would sprint to the podium to take Joe Alt too.
And you're a big Velus Jones Jr. guy, so
I fucking hate that guy. Did he get cut yet?
No, you've been saying he's getting cut for
yeah, he's got to be cut. He's got to be cut at some point.
Oh man, but exciting! I'm excited to talk draft next week too, for sure. But even though there's like not, we'll be at DraftKings.
Yep.
In Wrigleyville, so come by, come hang out, let's celebrate, let's have a Miller Lite, and be responsible.
What was the hashtag?
Be happy.
Yeah, reread that because I didn't really understand it, but it sounded awesome.
Yeah,
lights up for the pick.
Hashtag lights up for the pick. Hashtag sweepstakes. Tag Miller Lite. You could have a chance to win a pair of season tickets.
That's an absurdly expensive prize given away. Yeah, for free, for nothing. Cheers your buddy.
Are we allowed to win?
I'm going to be doing. I'm serious.
I might create a burner just to win this. Yeah,
got to go to the Bears website and find an HQ bar near you and then go. Okay. So, all right then. That's it, guys. That's it. See you guys next week.